Hello, lady and gentlemen. Right, today we're on another episode, our third episode on chatting about training young female athletes. And for the last two episodes, Chu and I have been, talking amongst the both of us and chatting about, training young female athletes. But then we thought on this episode, we should get an actual young female athlete on to speak to her and, talk about real training with a real female athlete. Right, so everybody, this is Lynnette. How young is Lynnette?
I'm not that young. So I'm 27 this year. So not a young athlete anymore.
Oh my God. Chiu, she's saying she's not young anymore. Are you talking to Chiu? You're talking to him, right? Yeah, so well, just a rough introduction. Lynnette is now coaching my girl, Asha, in climbing. So Asha climbs with her, and then Lynnette is a climber. I mean, I've seen her climbing since she was a, shall I say, little girl. And now she says she's not so young anymore. Oh my goodness. Is she talking about us? And the thing is, she doesn't only climb. She also doubles in triathlon. One of the most amazing things I find about her is like, she's like all-rounded. She's like an all-rounded athlete. She doesn't only just do one thing. She doesn't only just swim. She doesn't only just run. So she's all-encompassing. She does dabbles in a lot of all these different sports. So so that's very interesting, and that's why we got Lynnette on. And I won't talk too much about her. I'll just get Lynnette to introduce herself. I think she's the best person to talk about her own journey.
I'm now working as a climbing coach since I graduated from school. So I graduated in 2019. So now I'm my third year of work. Okay, and I'm a freelance coach, but it is my full-time work. So I coach climbing at clubs, at climbing gyms, and also at schools around Singapore. And I also do a bit of preschool work. Like I go to preschools and I work with the teachers and the kids, teaching them fundamental movement skills. So a bit like a PE teacher for kids. Yeah. So that's what I'm doing now.
A little bit about your journey on how you got started climbing, and then how from climbing then you ventured into triathlon, because there's quite a vast difference, right?
So I started climbing in secondary school. So when I was 14. So I think in Sec 1 we had a school camp, like outdoor camp, and then they had like climbing as one of the activities. And after that we came back to school and we had a CCA the following year. And so I joined the CCA and then I've just been in it since then. So I started climbing when I was 14. And then I started doing triathlons when I entered university. So when I was in NTU, I joined the aquathlon team. So basically just swim and run. And started training with them. Didn't do that much triathlons until 2017. That's when I did my first half Ironman, and I've been racing.
And she's been racing ever since.
And I did my first full Ironman in 2019. Yeah.
So you're climbing all the way. Then from climbing, and because you went into NTU actually has an outdoor club, or there's some climbing. There are climbing cliques going around there, right? So then what made you join something different instead?
So NTU has what we call a university mountaineering, UMC, University Mountaineering Club, should be club.
Oh, right. I remember that name now.
So, besides climbing, they also do go out and
mountaineering stuff.
Mountaineering stuff.
Yeah.
But for our climbing wise, like our climbing wall and talking about training sport climbing, we didn't really have the best facility and also don't really have a coach. So, I mean, back then I was climbing quite hard by myself, like as in with friends outside. So I would just go out and climb at the climbing gyms. So I didn't really join. I did join it like unofficially. Like I'm in it, but I didn't go for the trainings. But I did represent the school.
Right.
Yeah, so I represented the school, but yeah, never really went to train at school itself. So then I joined cross country first, actually. I joined cross country, and they kind of like, it's always interlinked with the aquathlon team, because they realize like, hey, we need some runners, and like they just, so in the end it's always
Then they poach from the cross country team.
Yeah. So in the end, the cross country team will always help out the aquathlon team, and yeah, in the end, just join us. I just joined both. Like the teammates were always similar anyways. Yeah, so just went for both trainings. Yeah.
So what did training look like then?
For cross country, we just train at the track, train a lot on the track, and right next to our track is our swimming pool. So we had a coach. So we had a coach for both cross country and for swimming. So that was really nice, because I mean, for climbing, we didn't really have one, right? So to join a team that has this kind of teammates and a proper coach just felt very nice. Yeah.
Because when you're climbing, you mean to say that you don't actually have this element in climbing?
I think just not really having a coach. So like, I see, once we reach like the open standard, right? Like not in school anymore, like not in a secondary school, and you don't have proper school training. Mostly by ourselves. I mean, now it's getting better. Like some university teams have coaches now, so it has grown. But back then we didn't really have a coach, so we just go and train on our own, and we just train with the lao jiaos lah. Like they will tell us what to do, that kind of thing, you know.
Yeah, just hang around with the more experienced so-called athletes, right, or climbers, and then you learn from them, and they, like everybody just help each other kind of thing. Right. So then to be in an environment like in the aquathlon team, where you have teammates, the camaraderie, and then there's a coach, and a fixed program or something to follow, that's like a very different, different vibes.
Yeah, it's nice to just have to turn up for training and know what to do, without you having to think like, oh, what should I do today? It's like, okay, your coach briefs you, like this your set, and then go. Okay, then after that, shower, then go for dinner at the canteen. It's like, that was training in university. Yeah.
Right.
She came in with SGII. She was this really small, timid girl at the point in time who doesn't even know what climbing at the point in time. And then I saw how she was performing. I saw her mindset and her mentality, and the way she moved was just talent. And I remember walking up to her teacher and told her teacher, saying that you cannot let her go. This girl is phenomenal, even at the age when she was. And I remember even constantly asking her if she wants to get a harness, because I didn't want to force her into it, because not knowing if this is actually something she wants to do. And then being the coach at the point in time, I was like, if I were to force her to get the harness, she might waste her money, and then 1 year later, she's not going to climb. So I remember I was a little bit hesitant of trying to push her into the sport. And then one day she came in with the money to buy harness. Like, oh, she's really into it. And I couldn't find any size for her because she's really tiny. And so she needs to get a
body harness.
A kid's harness.
Not body harness.
Yeah.
Body harness. I still have if you need it. How different was it then in terms of intensity of training? Like, was it much tougher, or the expectations are very different as opposed to when you're doing on your own for climbing?
I think for university, what is nice is that you enter a team and they know there's a whole range of abilities. Because not saying like this is not a national team, it's still a university team. And it's still a CCA where they'll accept most people. It's just whether or not you represent the school team for competitions. So they'll still cater like different programs for everyone. So let's say for swimming, we would have different lanes. and just different abilities. So even though swimming wasn't my strong suit, but there's also like there'll be different lanes, so they just put you in a slightly easier lane, and in that lane there'll be other people who are also not as good. And it's not saying like the lane is only girls or only guys. So like everyone is kind of just the same ability doing the same workout, and you don't have to worry about the stronger people kind of like pushing you down, overtaking you just to finish the set. Yeah, so it's quite nice because you're pushing together with people your same standard.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, I guess in a varsity team, this camaraderie is very nice, because I would say most people are in a team would have that mindset, like, you know, we are there together to basically train and have fun. That kind of mindset. It's not really overly competitive or I need to be better than you, that kind of mindset.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, I think at the end of the day, it's still kind of an individual-ish sport. Apart from, yeah, you're still kind of against yourself. So whatever the workout is that day, you do it based on your own pacing. And like normally even for running or swimming, like the coach will have different pacing for different groups, and then you just aim to hit your timing. Yeah, so I mean, you see everyone training together, and then like people are just cheering on the track, and then okay, waiting for the next lap, and just like sit or waiting at the sidelines, like really tired. Then okay, go next one. Almost done. Like one more lap, that kind of thing. One more set to go. So yeah, that camaraderie is really something important.
Right. I'm also interested in the coach. Did you have the same coach for the swim and the run segment, or they are different coaches?
Yeah, so they are different. So for aquathlon itself, we only got a coach for the swimming. So, and then the aquathlon team will just join the cross country team
for the run.
Yeah.
With the running coach, with the cross country coach, right?
Yeah. So I mean, there are a few people that only do aquathlon or only do cross country, so they don't come for a swim. But because the team is very interconnected, so the both coaches were fine with it. It's like, yeah, perfect. Yeah.
Yeah, just come along.
Yeah.
Set and the characteristic of these chosen ones, whether be it male or female, are they similar?
So there will always be like the team captains, and they're a bit definitely more psych, like they need to psych up the team and kind of like, yeah, we always just, okay, we need to trash like in the next month's game, like in train harder, that kind of thing. So they are definitely, their mindset is different from, let's say, those who are in the club and they're just training with us and joining us for training, but they know that they're not representing, but they'll still come down and like support. And some of them, they might be fast, like the guys might be fast, but compared to the even better guys, they are not fast enough. But then they'll push like us girls, because maybe their fast is like our standard, and then they'll push us, that kind of thing. So yeah.
Just came to my mind. How many what's the ratio of like the boys to girls in terms of this mixed team?
Definitely more boys. So probably about 2/3 boys, 1/3 girls. Yeah, always more boys than girls. Yeah.
So do the girls, including yourself, do you actually have that mindset where, you know, I can train as hard as the boys? Predominantly, you know, for the majority of the time. Do you have this kind of perspective or psyche, I'll say?
Yeah, I mean, like I say, like the coach based us on ability, so we would be in the same program or like same lane for swimming as some of the boys. Even if we move on to the slightly higher level, we're still swimming with the boys, and they're the ones pushing us, or sometimes the other way around. It's like, okay, just using each other. So yeah, I think definitely we know like that some of the stronger guys, like, okay, like they're just way beyond us. I mean, some of them represent like SEA Games, you know, duathlon, so they're really very, very fit. But in general, I think some of us were just on par with some of the boys also. Yeah. So yeah.
Does that actually give you a boost of additional confidence?
Yeah, I mean, I guess it's nice to not be separated in like, oh, this is the girls' lane, you all swim together. Yeah, we just get put into the lane, and then yeah, sometimes you really get a good push because you know, like, hey, this person is your standard. Yeah, today he seems like to be swimming a bit faster, like you need to stay behind him, you know, that kind of thing. Yeah, don't let the person behind you catch up also. Yeah, I mean, in a swimming lane, like, you don't want the person to touch your feet. Once they touch your feet, you know, like, oh, they're coming close, you know, you're given like 5 or 10 seconds buffer before each person goes. So if they're catching up with you, means you're either too slow, or the front person, if you're already at the front person, is too slow.
So, at that point in time, in terms of, the programs written by the coach or delivered to you guys, were there any considerations to say, have a different set of programming, or talk to girls slightly differently on different issues? Was there any sort of such initiatives?
I think at the age, no, like we never really separated. I mean, our coaches were quite, at least the our cross country coach, he was quite like personal. Like, he'll come and talk to us, and he also has 2 daughters lah. So if anything, like, we can talk to him, but not really, never really separated out our trainings too much. Like, based on our timings, he would give us our own target timing. So that was quite nice. Like, he knows, like, if we are training for something specific, he will adjust our timings in order. So it's not like, okay, group 1, this is your timing to hit. He actually personalized it based on each person in the team, because he will analyze the timings. But yeah, other than that, not really, not too much.
So I'd say the personalization in terms of the programming was given to you more based on abilities than based on gender, right?
Yeah.
Because I'm sure there are also teammates like girls running faster than boys because of the very varied abilities.
Yeah.
Right? So people will split based on abilities and based on genders.
Yes.
Okay, yeah.
What motivated you to do Ironman in the first place?
Yes, so I got into a pretty bad accident, resulted in a pretty bad spinal injury. So that point of time, like, I couldn't really climb too hard, and I couldn't really do too much impactful sports. So even running was a bit uncomfortable. So I started swimming more. But also because when I was in the hospital, like, a friend sent me a video of the Ironman race.
It all started with a video.
Yeah. I think when I was much younger, in my back of my mind, like, oh, this is so cool, I want to do it one day. But like, I did not ever have a date to it. It's just like something I want to do one day. But because of that, I was like, oh, I want to do it sooner. Or at least then my friend said, after he sent me the video, he's like, yeah, I'm going to do this half Ironman. So not the full thing, but this half Ironman next year. And I was like, yeah, I want to join. Then my friend's like, hey, don't be crazy, like, you're still in the hospital bed, you know. Like, I'm just talking to you, I'm just telling you. And someone he's overseas, was in California. And I was like, no, I want to join. Okay. Then it so happens that I was planning for exchange in January. The race was in June the following year. So I got injured in July, and the race was in June. So basically almost 1 whole year.
1 year.
Yeah. And then I was going for exchange in January in Canada, and the race was in Hawaii in June. So I kind of like, yeah, I'm gonna be there, not there. I'm gonna be like in the
In
western
that part of the world.
Yeah.
Don't say there, like Canada, Hawaii is still like a distance. Like, hey, I'm just there.
Yeah, so like it just kind of all worked out a bit. So after I finished exchange, I went down to California for 1 month, stayed at my friend's place, do last bit of training, and then flew down to Hawaii to race my first half Ironman.
sitting in, when you're lying down in the hospital, right? And then your friend say he wants to do this half Ironman thing. What were you thinking? What made you believe you can do this?
Yeah, so like when I'm lying in the bed, like actually I think it haven't occurred to me that actually my injury quite serious. Like I think like
Haven't sunk in yet.
Yeah,
Maybe we backed out a little bit, right? So actually what happened?
I had a fall from a height and I landed on my back and I had a burst fracture of my T12. So so basically that meant like that vertebrae itself kind of shattered into a few pieces. So in order to let it kind of recover, they had to put in 2 rods and screws supporting the T11 and L1. So there'll be no weight on the T12. And then during that point, it can just kind of fuse back together. The pieces.
Okay.
Yeah.
Then after healing, do they have to remove the rods?
Yeah. So 1 year later, I removed the rods. So after my race, then I came back to Singapore. Then I removed it slightly over 1 year later.
Oh, okay. So you actually raced with the rods and the screw.
Yeah. So it was kind of motivation because I knew that if I were to take it out, I would need another downtime. So I really wanted to get something done before I have to...
I know, right? Wow, to like having to the thought of, oh my God, I need to go through it again because I need to take it out. And then there's downtime. How long was it this time?
Actually, after the second one, it was much faster than the first one. At least it wasn't as hard to get back. The first one was
right after the incident, and then you were in hospital for how long?
So I was hospital for about 2 weeks.
Yeah. 2 weeks or so. And then after that, you definitely need to go through a rehabilitative phase. So how long was that and what did you have to do?
Okay, so actually, based on the rehab and the physio, it was done mostly in hospital. So the main point of before I could get discharged was that I need to be able to walk before they can discharge me. So actually to the hospital, once they discharged me, most of the rehab I did by myself. Yeah. Actually, to them, like they didn't even really plan for much because to them, I am fine already. So I went from being like stuck in bed. So, and then the deal was you need to be able to walk and like function by yourself first before they discharge you. So after they discharge you, technically there is nothing wrong with me already. Like I am injured, but not like I cannot walk because I already...
You mean you didn't have to go back for physio rehab sessions and all that?
No. Yeah, so the only thing was that if I couldn't walk within that time frame, then they might have pushed me out to those rehab centers and continue staying there. Yeah. So I don't know, those community rehab centers, and I'll continue my stay there. But because I was able to walk and I didn't want to do that, so yeah, I went back to school. I mean, everything was just really slow. Like I couldn't stay in hall. My parents sent me to school most of the time, or at least everything just very slow, like walking up downstairs. Yeah.
Suddenly you're older than Chu.
Yeah, it was very hard.
Oh my gosh, but actually it's a big revelation to me to hear this. Like, you know, they didn't actually get you to follow up to rehabilitate on or to really follow up on, you know, rehab exercises to make sure that this person is fully functional, the back can work properly, twists and turns and rotations are fine. No? Like can walk, okay, you're safe.
Yeah, because so what I found very frustrating was that they did not treat me as an athlete. So I was just a normal person. And the doctor was a very traditional old guy. And he was like, yeah, you shouldn't be thinking about doing sports again. And the next thing that he said was like really upsetting. He was like, the most strenuous activity you should be doing next time is to maybe childbearing. That is the most ever if you need to. Yeah, like you should not be thinking about doing sports ever. Like this is it. Like
so annoying. Oh my
God.
God.
It was very frustrating. So like
so So what did you say? No lah. At that point, of course, I'm sure you didn't say anything to him.
Yeah.
Did you?
No, I mean, no, I mean, I was very upset. Like, of course not. Like what the hell? Like, it's.
What the hell, right? Yeah, yeah.
So I think I went just a few follow-ups. Then I mean, I was overseas. Then even after my second operation, I only went for one. And also same thing. Like I tried to bring up doing activities and going back to life regularly. But like his just reply would just be same or like why are you doing this? Then he'll even say like you are not doing justice, like you got a second chance to like live, and yeah, you're not doing justice to it. Like it's really very ridiculous. So then I didn't even go back after the second one because like honestly I was fine. Like they took out the metal, they took out everything. They just needed to see like everything is healing, but yeah, that's it.
Wait, so this doctor, I mean, I would say his surgeon, this surgeon is somebody you guys found, or just happened to be like you went to A&E and then this surgeon was allocated to you or something like that. And then you just kept following up with him just simply because he was allocated.
Yeah, it was just the surgeon that was given to me at that point of time.
Which hospital?
Tampons.
No wonder so old.
Definitely at that time, like I think I was just very messy. Not in a private hospital. Yeah, just everything just don't know. Very very blur lor. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, precisely. Because of all these barriers, right? And everybody's telling you not to do this, not to do that, don't be crazy and stuff like that. What really motivated that drive, right? To suddenly do something new, in fact, to do like this Ironman thing. And I mean, if you tell me you want to go back to climbing, I totally understand, no? But to suddenly embark into something entirely new.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like what was going through your head at the point in time, you know?
I mean, I guess it's really wanting to like prove people wrong. Like maybe like kind of like the doctor kind of makes like feel up like the angle.
Tell me I cannot. 我做给你看. Your parents must have been traumatized too.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I guess I was quite bad. It was, yeah.
Yeah. Then but I suppose they still kind of like stay strong, so because they had to hold the fort for you also, right?
Definitely.
Right. So they were the ones fending off or whatever, talking to the doctors and.
Yeah, there was a lot of things going on behind besides like the doctor stuff. I mean, like the whole accident itself was also a big hoo-ha that they had to deal with. And I mean, I was still quite young. I was like 22. So I did not want to deal with that aspect of the accident. I wanted to know what was going on the medical side. But the other things like I did not want to deal with at that point of time. Yeah.
Can I just add on to that? I really believe that a big part of it also is you get great support and encouragement from your family, right? Because for something like this, it really involves the entire kampong, correct? And I mean, I don't know your family very well, but I am very sure that it's because they are also supporting you and encouraging you to do it and not second guessing your ability. Or they might, because you know, as a mom, I was like, 不要啦, why you want to do this again? Like, huh? In the end, not you pain, I pain. Right? But yet, and I'm sure there are occasions like this, right? This kind of conversation. I'm not sure, you probably have these conversations too with your parents. But yet, they still encourage you to go ahead.
Yeah, I think like at least for like my parents and my close friends, I think they know that I'm quite strong-willed lah. Like they say no, I'll probably still do it. So I think they just kind of have to. I think they learn how to support in a like a careful way. Because if they say no, they know I'll still do it. Yeah. So even my closer friends, like they know I'll want to do it. So instead of just like saying no and stopping, they were just supportive in making sure that I am okay.
Like, what do you need?
Yeah.
Do you need help this? Do you need a body training for training today?
So upon your realization of how bad it was, right, after your first physio experience, did you still have that mindset that I'm still gonna keep fighting on and do that half Ironman?
Actually, my first physio, I don't know about the Ironman yet.
Oh, okay, all right.
It was after that. So it subsequently got better after like the first 2-3 days, and like the physio sessions got a lot better. And I guess because I was just within, like, doing things really within the physio's
Guidelines.
guidelines, so it's kind of very easy. And I was like, I can, you know. So it is really getting out into going home and doing things on my own, and then just moving, even like taking public transport, going up and down the stairs on my own, and I realized like it's a lot harder. And previously I just walked a bit.
Hard in the sense you realize you cannot put weight totally, or there's difficulty in extreme difficulty in movement or simple rotation or stuff like that.
It very hard to like stand up, sit down, just the pain.
Right.
Comfort. Cannot bend down, so I cannot tie my own shoelaces, that kind of thing. Stepping, like walking upstairs and downstairs, like just putting the extra weight, and you feel like the up the spine, up the injury area. Just
right.
Mostly the bed, like getting out of bed also was very hard. So like sitting down, standing up, all those.
Like you might as well just roll out of bed.
Like they had to like saying like you might need to change your bed, like to make things a bit more comfortable. We have a room downstairs in my house, thinking whether I should be sleeping there for now, so don't have to walk up the stairs. So those things like that. Yeah.
Yeah. But did that eventually happen, or you refused to? Like, I'm going back to my room.
No, I didn't want to. I wanted to go to my room. So at the time, my parents still working, so stuff like doing basic things like trying to change and shower was quite hard. My grandma's helper would come and help during the day for the first 2 weeks. So that time I haven't started school yet. So that first 2 weeks back home, just very boring, like I just sleep a lot. I don't know why, still very tired, like nothing to do, then just lie down.
Of course, the body needs the energy to heal, you know.
Yeah.
Then if you keep running around, that's it, man. Use up all the energy elsewhere.
Walk on. Then I try to, like, I want to walk. So like walking, technically I can do. I try to walk around the house, like outside the street. Even like 10 minutes, then very tired, like very chuan.
And come back, must sleep already.
Never lah. Like imagine I walk 10 minutes, I feel so chuan. Like how to go back to running? I cannot imagine, you know. Like that's why I'm boosting in.
Correct.
Like it's not as easy as it's gonna
so
be.
then in the end, how did you decide that, okay, how do you plan your recovery? Like what do I have to do, in order to get back? Because there was no so-called official guidance from the medical side, from the hospital, like, you need to go through this rehabilitative process. You had to figure it out all by yourself. So in the end, what did you plan?
So I mean, I study sports science, right? And I do know a bit about injuries and about bone fractures and stuff like that. And I still went back to get scans. I think at the 6 or 8 week mark. I think that's the mark where you're supposed to see your bone. Most bone fractures will recover at the 6 week, roughly there. So, and reading up on some stuff. After 8 weeks, I started to go into like jogging. Swimming, I started a bit earlier on. So I did swimming first. Then I did a lot of walking on the treadmill, just put like uphill. So that was like my main exercise, uphill walking. And then eventually started back jogging again after like the 8 weeks mark. Yeah. So just kind of feeling.
It's very fast, 8 weeks and then you started jogging.
Yeah.
And you could do it?
Yes. It was very uncomfortable. So I think kind of like understanding how I feel. So I just kind of take every session, seeing how I feel each time, and then trying to understand like what is normal and what is like, okay, no, like definitely shouldn't be feeling this. And then most of the time it's really just the feeling the impact that I realized that it's gonna be normal. Like, it's very weird. Like you feel this thing in your lower back.
Yes.
It start off. But then after the first 5-10 minutes, it's okay. Like you don't feel it. Yeah. It's just the starting that I realized that is.
Yeah. So I think a lot actually has to do with how well you are able to listen to your body and how well you understand your body in terms of understanding what's going on with this sensation or that tweak there, and then like really listening, right? So when do you know when it's actually the body telling you, no, this is not it?
Actually, I took things quite slowly. So I tried back climbing. I think that was the harder one. Because climbing, I could do things quite hard, right? And then now I like really suck. So I did not do any risky stuff, like take big falls. So everything was just on top rope. And I guess mostly that. I did not do bouldering. I did try a bit, but when on harder routes where I don't feel confident of getting the move and I end up landing, then I feel like, okay, this is too much. Like it's really very dangerous to land in an awkward position. I cannot land on my feet, So yeah, I think mostly just feeling how it is every session. And then it gets better. Like you can actually feel the difference. Like today it doesn't feel so uncomfortable.
Because I coach girls. I coach a lot of girls here, and even back in Singapore, I coach a lot of girls as well. Can you say that everybody is like you? Everybody has got that same like this. This is not normal to me. I mean, from all the other girls that I see, is nowhere close to anywhere of your mindset.
Yeah, not normal to me, After pregnancy,
right,
I'm like, huh? Okay, 1 year out.
So what is that strategy, right, that you have, right? Or do you even have a strategy in you that made you kept going? What kind of coping mechanism that you have that made you want to just keep driving on to the sports that you want to go into? And I know right now you can even climb 8As for your lead. I mean, not any normal people can climb 8As. No, with some more with you with a back injury, right? Climbing 8As is you're making a lot of people out there feeling embarrassed with themselves right now. So yeah.
I guess there's just that the part in me that felt like I still have a lot more, a lot more to go. So it was just very, very upsetting to know at that point of time, like there's so much more you can do, but it's taken away from you. Yeah. So I guess I always wanted to do an AA and always wanted to do an Ironman. So like those two final goals were something like going one whole circle. Yeah, so I don't know, I guess it's just like don't want life to get away from you over something like really stupid that happened. I guess, I think growing up as an athlete, like just very disciplined and kind of have like a lot of goals. So I think that helped with, I think what Chu mentioned about, oh yeah, not everyone is so disciplined, like, oh, cannot do then, okay, never mind lah, like, let's move on. Yeah, so I think because there's a lot of things that I wanted to do already. So just had to take a step back and just having encouragement, like hitting a new goal slowly, and like, hey, suddenly I can run 5 km, or suddenly I can climb this grade, even though it's on top rope again. Like just small things that kind of push you further. Like, okay, you can do it. It's just gonna take some time. Yeah. So I guess like if like just having those small mini results help a lot. Yeah. And yeah, I guess the mindset, I don't know. I guess I really like doing the sports that I did, like climbing, and really like running, swimming, and cycling. Yeah, so it motivated me to want to get back. Yeah.
So thinking back to all your friends in your elite level triathlon or Ironman or even climbing itself, right? Do you see similar traits in them with you? That means you feel like they are like you, or not?
Yeah, there's definitely those that are very passionate about whatever sport they do. You can see like a fire within them, like they want it, they will do it, yeah, and they'll work hard lah. They'll work hard. I think in general, most athletes are quite hardworking in getting what they want. It's kind of like drilled within us, yeah. So like we know the meaning of hard work, and with the hard work we can see success. Yeah, so I think this motivation within is quite common in at least athletes.
And I do agree with her. A lot of it has to do with having a certain goal in mind. Because it is really without goals that you don't have a direction. Without direction, then you don't have a clear action plan. Because some people are like, I want, it's like a want, but they don't really need to have it or see it happen. So I think it's just not to me, I see it as not only just for athletes in terms of like athletic goals, like even daily normal lives, like somebody wants to lose weight, somebody wants to eat healthier, somebody wants to be a bit more involved with the kids, that kind of thing. Like there's no clear end goal in mind, and then they don't know the steps to move towards that.
Telling Corinne that because I knew I was training people like you, like Jocelyn, like Jenmin, and all the other RGS girls and things like that, I was paranoid. I was like, am I doing the right thing? Can I train these girls this way? How much can I push them? Menstruation cycle, very, very, very sensitive topic. Could I even talk to them about it? It's like, what do I do? And it's like, what are the dangers if, let's say, I push them too hard, So at the point in time when the cycle comes, at the point in time when I was training you, or when I was training Jocelyn or all those other girls, right? I didn't even go into the extent of asking you girls at the point of time, how are you feeling? What's your mood? What's your can you train hard? Whereas now these are the questions I ask my female athletes. And did you at the point in time felt like that me as a coach or some of the other coaches should have done to be more aware of things like that?
I think when we are so young, right, like we did not think or that it would be an issue, like, or it should be an issue. It's like, yeah, we get it and it's annoying, but we did not think that it's okay for it to be affecting us, or that our training should be any different. Yeah. I mean, now that we go older and we realize that actually there is quite a lot of issues with female athletes, then yes. But when we are so young, like, no, like, okay, yeah, we know that we will get this, but we are still expected to go for training. We shouldn't be training any differently, I guess. Yeah.
Okay, so now based on this mindset, right, that you put yourself back into that shoes where you're 14 years old, 15 years old, and you're like, nah, I don't really care. But now that you're more educated, now that you know more of these things, would you have wished that a coach at the point of time knew about these things?
I guess actually the funny thing is that when I was growing up and when I got it and doing sports, like a lot of my friends would say that they will get cramps, and I realized that it affected them a lot. And sometimes they tell like the PE teacher like, oh, I don't want to run 2.4 today because I got cramps. And then the PE teacher will be like, okay, yeah, you don't need to do it, or you just walk it lah. You just walk, yeah, yeah. And then I didn't really get these kind of menstrual cramps a lot. That for a long time I didn't know what it felt like. So maybe I was getting, or maybe it wasn't very painful. Like people was like, I don't know what they feel like. Yeah, so I just thought that I was fine. And I actually think that now that I know, I definitely know what it feels like now, that yeah, I didn't really get it that much when I was younger. Yeah, so I could do sports, but I'm not sure why. I mean, definitely every girl is different. Like some of my friends get it so bad, like wow, like they cannot even like stand up, that kind, or like they need to go and like lie down. Yeah, so I guess it is important that coaches understand, and instead of just like, oh yeah, okay, you
brushing
don't,
it off, right?
yeah, maybe they can find out how to help them, or I'm pretty sure there are ways that life can still go on, a bit of training can still go on without them just like, okay, you go home or you just sit there. Yeah, because I think when you are so young, you'll just be like, I'm in pain. Like if you tell me to just rest and sit there and sit out this training, I'll just do that. But if there's something else that can be done, like yeah, I would rather do it, you know, like if you tell me that, okay, maybe do this and then for training wise you do this instead, yeah, I would definitely prefer that if I was someone who got a lot of this kind of cramps.
Because you mentioned that you didn't actually really have cramps when you were young, right? So I would say pretty much your cycles don't really affect your physical training when you were much younger.
Yeah. Yeah, so actually one thing that I found really annoying was having to wear a pad while training. Be it running or climbing, like it's uncomfortable.
Annoying, right? Yeah.
So I was quite fortunate at the time that after I got my first cycle, then my aunt introduced tampons to me, which is very different because I think my mom will not or ever use it. Yeah. So my aunt was like, you should try this. I give to you this one, you go and try. Like it's a life changer. Like why you want to walk around
wear pads, yeah,
with like all this like uncomfortable feeling. So from my second cycle onwards, I tried, and since then, yeah, I've been using tampons, which is very different to what a lot of girls like. I have a lot of friends who never ever tried. Yeah, and to me, it's a lifesaver lah. It's a lifesaver for someone doing sports.
I will tell you why it's a lifesaver, okay, Ju. You know, when I was in ODAC in secondary school, yes, she understands the lifesaver part. So that time in JC, we were in ODAC, right? And then ODAC, you go for kayaking and stuff like that. And then you go for like, I don't know, like kayak to Seletar, stay overnight, that kind of stuff, and camp and come back, right? Oh my gosh, I got my menses then. But you know, it's like, don't go because it's like a leadership camp or that kind of stuff, right? Like, you must go. And then you have like, so wear pad in the kayaking. And then you have to do capsize drill.
Oh.
That was the ultimate, I tell you. It's like, seriously, what? And that time nobody talked about tampon or whatever, right? Like it's just I don't know. I'm sure tampon was around already, but it's just that nobody taught us or anything or say anything about it. Or the teachers never even asked to, when you're doing capsize younger generation, even more millennial than us. No, Chu is not millennial, but how comfortable are you, like you and your friends in this age group, right, talking about these issues? I just want to, understand about that. Like, are y'all open about chatting about, your cycles or cramps or,
I think, I think we're all quite open about it. I guess it depends on the people itself. Like, you can tell, like, you talk about it, then like they don't want to, don't want to talk to you. Like, okay, they're not going to continue this conversation.
Okay.
I mean, for me, a lot of my friends don't use tampons. So when I bring it up, then they are quite they ask me about it, like, uncomfortable how you put it in and all the issues about using it. I was like, you want or not? You try. Like, I have, or sometimes they ask me for pet. Then I was like, oh, I don't have pet, but I got tampon. You want? Then like, how you use tampon? Then the whole conversation will come up. And I was like, hey, you should really try. It's a lifesaver. Like, you want, like, it's not so bad. I give you, you're going to try. Yeah. Then then I try. I feel like I'm an advocate for it. One time, and then got the different size, then got the different application, and then I try to help them to get the proper one. But
time for it as sponsorship, man.
Yeah, man. Like some athletic tampon, or like tampon for sports kind of endorsement.
Not very green. Now got the menstrual cups all that. I have a lot of friends trying to get me on that, but like.
Have you tried? So you okay? So you see you're at one level, the pad and the tampon and then the menstrual cup. Then now the menstrual cup, I'm trying to get you onto the menstrual cup. Yeah. And then you're like.
Yeah. So I really haven't got to that level yet. I have a friend that's saying like, she really, really wants me to get on. It's like, never mind, lucky she's overseas. Like, next time you come back, you will try to convince me again. I guess that's the difference. Like, I'm not there at that level to want.
I know a lot of my mountaineering friends, they do that. Female mountaineering friends, when up in the mountains and stuff like that, they're out there for like 18 days, 20 days. Right? They found that to be a really lifesaver for them. So I do not know why. All right, I can't give you the experience.
You mean that's the solution? Because I want to raise another point. Because when I was younger, I mean, I don't know any better. Then whenever there are all these outdoor events or big travels going on, or like a competition or race, if I know that it will hit the cycle or menstruation time, then I'll plan to take the pill.
Okay.
When I was younger, right? So I'm not sure. You have you been exposed to this, Lynnette, or like your group of friends? Has anybody tried this strategy?
Yes, I actually did that for my Ironman race. So prior to the race, so about 3 months, I think. Like I saw the timing and I saw the day of the race, and I'm like, oh, I cannot. It's gonna hit confirm during the race. It's gonna be that week.
Spot on, kind of, right? Yeah.
It's like you want to siam also cannot siam. So so 3 months before that, I started to take just so that I can not have my period on that race. And I was reading this kind of thing. I just read up on my own. So I went to go and take, and then I just took 3 months off until the race was over. Then I stopped. Yeah, and then.
But at that time, you were in Canada, right?
No. This one was okay. This was for the full Ironman. So
right.
Ironman, I think I'm not sure whether I got it or not, but it wasn't too much of a problem because it's short. It's like 7 hours. It's not too long, but the full Ironman, it took me 16 hours. So like there's no way you can go without using a tampon. Like 6 hours tampon, depending on how heavy, maybe you're lucky, only change once or don't need change at all, right? But 16 hours cannot lah.
You need the menstrual cup.
I don't know, man. Like, how are you gonna find the time to dump it out and
So, exactly. Actually, that's always my question. Like, few days out in the mountains and they don't need to do anything to the cup.
They do need to. It's just that it's more hygienic because you can clean it.
Right.
And you can reuse it over and over again. So instead of carrying many of these tampon or boxes, things like that, they have reduced it to just three of them. So they just rotate it.
Yeah.
Two.
Interesting. Yeah, so that was our strategy then. But I'm none the wiser, right? So as I understood more about what it is, and it's playing around with hormones and stuff like that, then as I grow older, I just don't I try to avoid it. And for your information, right, in Singapore, if you want to get your hands on these pills, you have to get a prescription from a doctor. You can't get it off the pharmacy. You can get it off the pharmacy if you're in Malaysia, or actually most of the other countries, I'm sure. But in Singapore, you need a doctor's prescription because it's hormones. It's playing around your hormones to tamper with the cycle. When you think back about your teammates or your friends who are training somewhat competitively, especially the girls, do you have any experience of any of them being very affected or by their weight and size?
I guess, females, this is a very tricky topic, talking about weight and size. So as athletes, those that are training quite high level, most are already quite cautious about their weight and size. Yeah, so any slight remark could really affect them. For example, if they go off for exchange or come back, like I know when I went off for exchange, I come back, I came back a lot, a plumber, everything, and a lot of friends also just go there and come back, just totally cause different lifestyle, so I think something like this, we know that as athletes we can train and get back, but it's just how we do it. So some go to the quite extreme of dieting, or I guess you were talking about the female eating disorders and things like that. So I realized that this affects two groups of people, like those that are on the plumber side and they feel very self-conscious, and those on the skinny side also, when they start to put on weight. So I think most people don't realize it, like when they are skinny all along, and then suddenly they put on a bit more weight, and people notice like, hey, why are you, you look a bit fatter, a bit, life good, like show, that kind of thing. But the fact is that they're probably healthier now. Like, it's just that you're so used to seeing them so skinny that now when they are normal, you think that they are.
You think they put on weight, yeah.
Yes, and that's where a lot of people don't understand that. That and it hurts them, no? It affects them, yeah.
So how will you tell a friend like that, right? That actually you look good now. I think you're more healthy now.
Actually, just telling them, like, being honest, like saying like, you can tell them, like, yes, they do look, like you look like put on more weight, but hey, you look healthier, like you look good, like this. Like, you tell them the truth. I don't tell them like,
really good life, huh?
Yeah.
Very good food, huh?
Yeah. Like, you look like you put on some weight, but you look good like this. Like, I think you look healthier, that kind of thing. Yeah, I think I got it a lot also when I grew up. Yeah, I was very, very skinny, but not because just when you're young, you just don't really like to eat, and you're growing, and everything just comes into play, like you're just skinny, and then you hit the age where like you enjoy food a bit more, and you will naturally put on more weight as a female, weight at different parts of your body. And people would tell me like, actually you look better now, you look healthier. I got stronger in a different way. I'm not strong because I'm strong because I am strong with muscles, not skin and bones anymore. So I think just being honest with them.
Yeah.
But a lot of guys.
I was just sharing with you, like, especially with girls, the topic on weight is very sensitive. That even though the girl doesn't respond or show that she's angry or disturbed by it, but you never know the undercurrent going underneath, right? Boys don't know.
Yeah.
Right.
So Lynnette,
Mm.
I was just telling Corinne the other day is that, you know, among us boys, right, when we talk about these issues, right, we don't talk about this issue, we don't really care. We call each other fat. Hey, if you're very fat, okay, fat, who cares, kind of thing, you know, yep. Or even they will openly admit to you, yes, I am fat, all right? So deal with it, kind of thing. And we don't really get so emotionally affected by it or wanting to go on massive diet and stuff like that. And let's say we see another girl who is a little bit on the plump side, and then we want to be a bit more, we want to be more on the caring basis to tell her, hey, I think you put on a bit too much weight for yourself. I mean, I think you have put on a bit more weight. Might not be good for the activities that you're doing and things like that. Maybe we can help you to I'll run with you and things like that, you know. And then with this you know, unknowing caringness for this girl, right? She feel like, my goodness, you call me fat. And then goes home, she's like, what should I do? I should go on a diet. That guy called me fat. And then whereas if we do that to a guy, my guy friend's like, yeah, all right, come here. Yeah, don't mind running with me and things like that. You know, we got very different response to these kind of things. And so we also never really hear what you girls are talking among yourself in your own group, right? So let's say in your own female group, you girls might be talking about, hey, a bit fat here or a bit fat here, what can I do and things like that. We don't hear these kind of things. Whereas we boys will walk up to a girl and say, I am fat. Look at me. Oh, my spare tire and stuff like that. We don't mind these kind of things, right? So we will never know that you girls are actually really, really affected by these kind of things because we don't hear it. You can ask every single generation man make the same mistakes because we don't hear it, because we don't know. So let's just say for you, right? Okay. And then you know that one of your athletes, right? Okay, just imagine, put the case study, right? One of your athletes happens to be putting on more weight. How will you as a coach, right, encourage her to lose weight?
Okay, so this is very common. You need to take note of their age also, because sometimes they are going through that puberty age where they will gain weight, and because also they're growing taller also. So you might need to let them just put on that weight, like if they're at the puberty age. But let's say they're past that age, they're like say 16, 17. So you know they're done already. Yeah, and they're putting on weight means they're not growing taller already. They're just putting on weight. That is the one where you can talk to them, like ask them about their lifestyle. Ask them like, oh yeah, what do you normally do? Your parents cook, or do you like to cook, or what food you like to eat, that kind of thing. And if they're saying like, oh yeah, I eat McDonald's every other day, then you might need to kind of ask them like, is it because your parents don't cook, or is that the only, like, what's the reason why they're doing that? Yeah, I think kind of just find out more about the reason why they are maybe suddenly gaining so much weight. It could be like really a stressful period where they are just like binge eating or something, or maybe they your parents don't cook, so they go out and buy food and then they're not sure what to get. So then they just get whatever's the most convenient or whatever they like. But then you can introduce to them like about nutrition, like go and buy TYFA, you know, it's convenient, it's cheap, but you can get proper nutrients also if you choose the right food. So I think it really needs to see their age, because if they're at the 13, 14-year-old age and they're putting on some weight, you might need to just let them put on the weight and then let them grow into it. Yeah, because it's very, very dangerous at that point of time. Yeah, but I think the 16, 17 and above, just talk to them and find out why. Yeah, if it's just a bit of weight, that's okay. But if it suddenly look like a lot, like 3-4 kg, then that's a huge difference. Like 1-2 kg, actually, yeah, 1-2 kg is not too much to be worried about. Yeah, it fluctuates. Yeah. Eating disorders, it's not only a female thing. It's now has changed to a guy thing also.
A guy thing as well.
Yeah, it's a huge thing now. It's called rates actually. Like we had this whole topic back in university, like relative energy deficiency in sport. So it's not about a female eating disorder. It's just in general for both guys and girls that there is a energy deficiency for athletes. Yeah, and it's not known, and people assume that it only affects females, but actually there are guys, and I know there are a lot of guys also who really are so careful with what they eat. They might go into intermittent fasting as a way to sort of like disguise it, like oh no, I am intermittent.
I'm fasting. I'm fasting. Yeah.
But actually it's their way of kind of managing it, because they know that they need to eat a lot, and then they kind of just force themselves to like fast all the way, and then suddenly bam, hits their opening hour, and then they eat non-stop, and they're like, hey, I get to eat. And some people, okay, maybe they are really doing it and are good at it, but some people are just using it as a disguise to eat that much during that period. So I think it's the guys are affected also now.
So based on your studies, right, in NTU, right, is this the recent thing that's happening to boys more often now, or it's always have been like that? It's just that there's not enough research done on guys.
I think it has always been there, also affecting guys. It's just not enough research done. Yeah. They're just so focused on the
I think previously, I have no doubt that it will possibly affect male athletes, because I mean there's impetus to do it, because for athleticism performance, right? To achieve their outcome. But normal guys, I'm not so sure. But then these days, I am pretty sure guys also get into some form of eating disorders, or yeah. But generally also, I think because of social media, and then people get to learn more and more about all these kind of different eating styles and diets and all that, and then more people you get information so readily available. Like, hey, today I got this thing pop up. Hey, I want to try this. Hey, this looks good for me. Then I can eat less and try this. Right, so readily available. All this information these days. So I have no doubt that it's across the board.
Yeah, I do know of a few of my male athletes who were like that, and I had to change their behavior. Even forcing them to go look for a dietitian to tell them that they are not doing it right, because sometimes who are they to believe me? I'm a performance coach, not a dietitian, no. And then sure enough, when they did go and look for a dietitian had to scold them as well, saying that no, you can't do that, you know. Because there's so many things on the internet that teaches them to do this, and then they yeah, let's do this, no, and stuff like that, and not realizing that sometimes it's not specifically for them.
Correct.
And
Correct.
I had to mention to a few of these athletes, saying that a lot of things that you see on the internet is meant for the general crowd. You are an elite athlete. You're pushing a lot harder than these general crowds out there, which means you got to eat more. I mean, now that you mention, I can think of a few. Yeah,
It's
but
true. But the interest, I mean, what's interesting is, Lynnette, do you personally know like any of your teammates or friends who go through eating disorders? Or have gone through that?
I said not so personal. Like, we know that there is a few of them, but not so personal until like we'll talk to them, or like actually see them I don't know, like picking out things or something like that. But never really get that. Yeah, but after learning about it in school and then looking at the behavior, it's like, oh yeah, this person definitely is going through this. Yeah, even now, like just observing people in general, like certain climbers, just know like, yeah, but just not so close to them that will actually like bring it up. Yeah, but I think so Chu mentioned about getting your athlete to go to a dietitian. I think a lot of times kids are a bit afraid that when they're asked to do this, like they're already in the wrong, like they're sick, especially in Singapore. Maybe Singapore's a bit like, you go dietitian means you go to hospital or something like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
yeah. Or go see a psychologist means you Cannot already.
Yeah, it's not like, it's not chill, you know.
Taboo is like a, yeah, correct, like a taboo topic.
So I think how we can approach it with our teams is that we educate them during trainings, like have maybe every month have a topic talk about and cater it to their level. So like if they're athlete, don't just talk to them about normal nutrition, talk to them about athlete nutrition, like you say, like they need to be eating more. Same thing about like the menstrual cycle, like talking to girls about it. So kind of not kind of being like in a scary way whereby they're by themselves, you know, like all the girls together, and then like, yeah, you like take out like a tampon and show them stuff and talk about menstrual cycle and just let them feel comfortable. And then also maybe talk to the boys separately that this is an issue with the girls. And like, so at least the whole team knows what is going on. Yeah. I think another like psychological thing with like the menstrual cycle with girls is like sometimes they are very common, just like leakage, like while training, or maybe suddenly very heavy during training and they don't know that they needed to change their pad or something. And then like you don't want the guy to see and then not say anything, or kind of like, or say something but say the wrong thing, like hey, oh my god, you know, like you don't want the guys to be sensitive about it. It's best like yes, let's say the boys see it during training, like they don't need to tell all their friends, but they can either tell the coach or straight away tell the girl and say it nicely. So I think this is something that is more an issue, I feel like, for
the social aspect, right?
80% of the girls is the social aspect. Yeah, like a bit of stain here, leakage, need to change, or don't have pad, need to ask. Yeah, that kind of thing. So yeah, I mean, as a coach or as a girl, I mean, we always keep some in our bags. Yeah, so just helping them get through this aspect.
Yeah. So I mean, this is awesome. That's where I see coach's role as well. Sometimes it's not that, you know, we really need to get into the nitty-gritty of, you know, training and programming, but really bring along this conversation, because ultimately we are in charge of these kids. They see us as role models, or they actually listen to us, hopefully. Well, some form of adult figure, or somebody that they can listen to or get advice from, to have this kind of open and safe conversations. And the coach, of course, must be comfortable himself or herself to deliver this talk or this kind of conversations. Like you mentioned, right? Hey, one day just bring along the tampons. Hey, girls, do you all know what's this? And, you know, that kind of thing. And then you get the conversation going. So that one day down the road, or something happens, or she feels a bit, you know, insecure because of cycle or uncomfortable, she's very okay to be open with you, instead of, you know, go to the toilet and hide it.
Personally, I feel that it's very creepy for a male coach, right, to bring in tampons. Hey, girls, look at
Correct. So that's the advantage line, you know, of the female coach, right? But I'm sure the male coach, with a male coach can also, I mean, you don't really need to take out the tampon, but there could be other ways of, you know, raising the conversation or starting conversations in an educational way. Like, you know, hey, today we're going to talk about discomfort in training during, you know, hey, it's a real problem, you know, that kind of thing. You're not the only one.
Yeah, I guess it is a bit weird for a guy coach to it also might not be comfortable, but if you have a good relationship with your students, I think yes, you can bring in someone if you're really going to talk about like the nitty-gritty, like when this is a tampon, this is how it works. And then let's say if you are not in that room or in that session with the girls, at the end of it you can just say like I mean, I thought it would be useful for your benefit, and I mean, you're an adult, right? You're not a young kid, so you're an adult, you know all this thing happens, and that you understand lah. So anything they need to talk about, that you're always here to talk about it. You can even be like the cool coach that carries extra pads when you go for training. I don't know how available it is. I mean, now in Singapore, like, everywhere got like Guardian lah, so very easy to run and get, or most girls have it. But like,
you just take some of Kim's extra standby, put in the bag, that kind lah.
I actually had once this nurse that came walked up to me, and she gave me this box of pads. And I held it, I looked at it. Is it for what? And she said, in case your female students need them. Oh, okay, all right, I'll keep in the gym. So yeah, I actually do have a box that's kept in the gym, and I said, I could probably use it for in case
So
there's a lot of
considerate.
massive bleeding and things like that, right? I can still use it for first aid,
Yeah, in fact, Mampo was saying the best thing for first aid is actually a pet cleaners.
Yes, right.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I think it's a good place to end. Like till down the conversation, and then because oh my God, we went through so much today from Lynnette's recovery. We had talking about teammates, talking about the girl psyche, talking about eating disorders. Wow, a lot, no? I think we need another conversation to zoom into something. Let's say we want to go into detail again.
Yeah. But you know what? I feel that looking at Lynnette, right, is quite unfair to most of the other girls out there to think that every single girl is like Lynnette, because Lynnette is really abnormal in my opinion. I've not come across. I mean, I've come across elite girls who are close to Lynnette kind of mindset, but the reason why she's so good at what she's doing, the reason why she's so exceptional in what she's doing is really a lot of times is because of her willpower is just so strong that I might want to talk to her parents as well to want what did they do it. Yeah. So I
Well,
think
it's strong in a good way. Yeah.
Yeah.
Luckily.
And yeah. No, it's amazing. So we can't really categorize her as the normal female athlete out there. But at the same time, it's still good to hear a really awesome story coming from her, and knowing how emotional it was for her during that period of time as well, right?
Of course.
And even until now, it still affects her. It makes me even wonder, oh my goodness, how did she pull it through? Yeah. It's just amazing.